Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. If you're new here, we do long-form, text-to-speech, friendly breakdowns that follow the full arc of a story, how a whisper becomes a headline and how real people try to live under that weight. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive. Today we're unpacking a development that set timelines on fire and sent industry group chats scrambling. The claim that Gupse has voiced a desire to end her marriage to Baris. What was actually said, why did it land so hard, and what happens when a private crossroads collides with a public brand? Let's map the whole story with care. First, the atmosphere in which this landed. For years, the pairing of Gupse and Baris has been shorthand for something sturdy in Turkish entertainment, two careers that can stand on their own and a home life kept intentionally offstage. Gups, as a writer-actor with a singular comedic pulse, built a reputation for brains, bite, and generosity toward her collaborators. Baris, as a charismatic lead who learned to make restraint louder than volume, carried series and films without letting the spotlight swallow him. Together, they projected a posture that many admired: keep the work public and the center private. That is exactly why a single interview fragment could feel like an earthquake. In a sit-down framed as reflective rather than sensational, Gupse reportedly spoke about the cost of visibility, about seasons in a relationship when two good people want different tempos, and about a threshold she felt approaching. The phrasing that traveled farthest was the starkest, that she had reached a point where continuing as is no longer felt honest and that parting ways might be the kindest path forward. Within minutes, the clip was being quoted across entertainment accounts. Some ran the words as confession. Others labeled them as contemplation. The nuance, the ifs and maybes, did not survive the journey as well as the headline did. What came next was the familiar choreography of a digital storm. Aggregators rushed in with captions that replaced conditionals with certainties. Fan pages split into camps, those pleading for privacy, those demanding explanations, and those insisting the couple owed the public a timeline because we grew up with them. Industry watchers added a cooler layer: when a public figure speaks with this level of candor, it is rarely impulsive. It signals either a decision already made, a negotiation underway, or a boundary being set before someone else tries to set it for you. Sources described as close to the couple framed Gups' choice to speak out as reluctant but principled. The logic, as relayed through multiple retellings, went like this: when your names anchor headlines even on quiet weeks, silence becomes a kind of content that others will exploit. Naming the crossroads yourself can reduce speculation, protect the people around you, and keep third parties from writing the story in harsher ink. Whether you agree with the strategy or not, it fits Gupse's long-standing approach: own the narrative you can, refuse the one you cannot, and treat the audience like adults. On the other side of the story, Baris has, so far, kept to the script that has served him well: no immediate statement, no half-answers that would become permanent sound bites. That silence has two readings. The impatient read is that silence is avoidance. The seasoned read is that silence is respect, a refusal to argue in public, a decision to let the person who opened the conversation set its pace, and a commitment to speak once, clearly, when the time is right. Fans who have followed Baris' interviews over the years recognize the second posture. It's the same craft-first discipline that kept his career from being eaten by publicity. Let's trace the emotional logic that made Gups' words so volatile. When public couples split, or publicly consider it, the audience reaches for culprits. Work schedules get blamed. Diverging ambitions get blamed. Even kindness gets blamed, because grown-up endings rarely provide the kind of clean antagonists that make for memorable television. Yet the deeper truth, difficult and unglamorous, is that relationships drift at the speed of ordinary days. Two people can love each other's best qualities and still want different architectures for a life. Two people can share a roof and a history and still wake up one morning with an ache that says we are pretending to want the same future. When a person with Gupse's precision says she wants the pretense to stop, it can sound harsher than it is meant. Often, it is exactly what it claims to be: a request for honesty. Through the noise, one theme kept repeating in responsible commentary. Whatever is happening, there is a childlike temptation to turn it into content, and resisting that temptation is a measure of character. That is why many viewers noted and applauded what did not happen. There were no cryptic posts from Gups aiming daggers at anyone. There were no reactive lives from Baris. There were no subtweets from friends. The space remained quiet enough for the people at the center to breathe. It's a small mercy, and it matters. Now, to the inevitable practical questions, and how this kind of storm interacts with the industry's machine. Contracts and press calendars don't care how hearts are doing, but the people running them do. Teams will buffer. Interviews will be re-angled toward craft. Campaigns will be reviewed to ensure nothing feels tone-deaf. If a public statement comes, the shrewd move would be minimalism, gratitude for support, a request for gentleness, and a promise to protect what remains private. Anything more risks becoming a scrapbook for strangers. Speculation about reasons is the ancient sport of fandoms, but let's resist trying to fill in blanks with myths. Work can pressure a marriage without being the villain. Fame can stress a bond without being a curse. Love can be real and insufficient at the same time. The curiosity that asks for a villain often masks fear. If there is a culprit, we can tell ourselves we would catch it in time. If there is none, we must admit that even good people can reach an end. Gupse's candor gestures toward that harder truth, and it is part of why so many listeners found her words both bracing and compassionate. There's also the matter of legacy. One reason this story rattles the culture is that Gups and Baris have, until now, modeled a version of partnership many admired: give each other room, celebrate wins, keep losses off stage. If they move forward separately, their challenge, and ours, will be to let that legacy stay intact. A love that lasted until it didn't is still a love worth honoring. A marriage that made two people better at their craft and kinder in their friendships is not suddenly a mistake because it reached a horizon. The internet is bad at endings. Real life needs them to be possible without shame. What should we expect next? 3 paths make sense, and they are not mutually exclusive. First, a period of deliberate quiet. When a sentence like Gups has just entered the world, the most loving act can be to let it land without a flurry of clarifications. Second, a careful statement whenever both parties are ready, brief, aligned in tone, and uninterested in providing raw material for endless speculation. Third, a return to work with focus, which is not coldness but care. The craft is where these two have always told the truth most fully, and it is the one place that will not distort their voices. Before we close, there's a community question worth asking out loud. What does support look like when a public couple faces a private decision? It looks like refusing to hunt for villains. It looks like not measuring one person's silence against the other's candor as if they were debate points to be scored. It looks like granting time. It looks like remembering that your favorite scene partners are, off-camera, people who do laundry, call parents, reorder the coffee they forgot, and try to sleep when their minds won't let them. If we can hold that picture, we'll talk about this story with the tenderness it demands. As always, I want to hear from you, respectfully. Did Gupse's words strike you as strength, as sorrow, or as both? Do you think public transparency helps protect a couple from worse speculation, or does it only sharpen the gaze? If you could script the ideal path forward, for them and for the media, what would it look like? Drop your thoughts below. The best conversations on this channel come from viewers who love the art and protect the artists. If this breakdown helped you see the human center beneath the headline, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, tap like, and consider joining for members-only deep dives into the craft and career choices that shape these stories. We will cover any official updates, if and when they come, with the same principle we ask from everyone else: respect first, speculation last. Thank you for watching, take care of yourselves and the people you love, and I'll see you in the next video.